Samson never touched a barbell. He never tracked his macros, never followed a periodized training split, never timed his protein intake, never had a programmed deload week. By every principle modern sports science has established, Samson's approach to physical development was completely wrong. His body was the strongest in Scripture. And when you run the actual numbers on what he did, modern biomechanics still can't fully explain it. What I want to show you is what Samson was actually doing physically, and the one training principle buried in his lifestyle that modern sports science is only now beginning to validate. Let's start with the documented record. 3 events, 3 data points that tell us something specific about the kind of strength Samson possessed. Event 1. A lion attacks him in the vineyards of Timnah. Samson kills it with his bare hands. No weapon, no warning. To kill a lion bare-handed requires overcoming an animal that can generate approximately 650 pounds of bite force and swipe with enough force to shatter bone. The grip strength, explosive power, and pain tolerance required to subdue one, not stun it, kill it, puts Samson in a category modern strength testing doesn't have a benchmark for. Event 2. At Gaza, surrounded, he pulls the city gates from their posts. Doors, posts, bar, and all, places them on his shoulders and carries them to the top of a hill facing Hebron. The gates of an ancient city weren't decorative. They were engineered to stop armies. Conservative archaeological estimates put the weight of a fortified city gate assembly at between 1,500 and 3,000 pounds. Hebron is 38 miles from Gaza and sits at a higher elevation. No modern strongman record involves carrying anything close to this weight, any distance, uphill. Event 3. Bound, blinded, chained between 2 central load-bearing pillars of a Philistine temple, Samson pushes them apart. The structure collapses. 3,000 people inside. The force required to displace structural columns under full load, the kind that hold a roof carrying 3,000 people, exceeds anything a human body has been reliably documented to produce. 3 events, each one impossible by current athletic standards, which means either the accounts are mythologized or something about Samson's physical development was categorically different from anything we're producing today. Modern sports science has a framework for elite physical performance. It requires progressive overload, sufficient recovery, adequate protein synthesis, hormonal optimization, and neurological adaptation over years of structured training. Samson had none of this in the conventional sense. What he had instead was the Nazirite vow. This is where it gets interesting. The Nazirite vow was a covenant, specific prohibitions, no cutting of hair, no contact with dead bodies, and, critically, no alcohol. Ever. Not a drop. This last prohibition, dismissed as ritual, was a profound physiological choice. Alcohol suppresses testosterone production measurably, even in moderate amounts. A single evening of moderate drinking reduces testosterone by up to 24% and impairs muscle protein synthesis for up to 24 hours after. Chronic moderate alcohol use, the ancient world's norm, creates a persistent hormonal environment that limits strength adaptation. Samson had 0 alcohol in his system, ever. His testosterone environment, from birth, was uncompromised. The second element, his diet. Pre-agricultural, largely unprocessed, high in wild animal protein, seasonal fruits, legumes. No refined carbohydrates, no seed oils, no chronic blood sugar dysregulation. His hormonal baseline, testosterone, insulin sensitivity, inflammatory markers, was operating at a level modern athletes spend enormous resources trying to approximate through supplementation. He wasn't training more, he was recovering better, adapting faster. Starting from a hormonal baseline we no longer have by default. The Nazirite vow wasn't designed as a fitness protocol. But when you map what it prohibited against what we now know about testosterone, cortisol, and muscle fiber recruitment, it reads exactly like one. If this is the kind of thing you want more of, we go deep on what ancient people knew that modern science is catching up to. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now, let's run the comparison directly. Modern pre-workout approach. Stimulants to override fatigue. Creatine to extend peak output. Protein timing to maximize synthesis windows. Periodized programming to manage adaptation. Samson's approach. Zero hormonal suppression from alcohol or chronic stress. A diet that maintained insulin sensitivity. No inflammatory load from processed food, and, most importantly, functional physical demands that recruited full-body movement patterns daily. He wasn't lifting isolated weight. He was performing real tasks under real loads, carrying, pushing, pulling, in unpredictable conditions. This trains what researchers now call neuromuscular coordination, the ability to recruit maximum muscle fibers simultaneously under novel conditions. Modern training produces strong people in controlled environments. Samson was trained by his environment itself. Here's what modern functional fitness has slowly, reluctantly admitted. The body adapts most completely to real, variable, unpredictable physical demand. Not to machines, not to fixed-path movement, to the kind of irregular, full-body, high-stakes physical challenge that characterized daily life in the ancient world. Samson didn't have a gym. He had a life that required everything his body could produce. Here's the principle you can take from this. The most underrated variable in physical development isn't your training program. It's your hormonal baseline. Samson's results were built on an environment of zero hormonal suppression, maximal insulin sensitivity, and daily functional demand. Modern fitness spends billions of dollars in supplements trying to recreate what his lifestyle produced by default. You cannot replicate the Nazirite vow exactly, but you can apply its logic. Eliminate the things that suppress your hormonal baseline: alcohol, processed food, chronic sleep debt, decision fatigue. These are modern equivalents of what the vow prohibited. Add functional physical demand to your daily life, not just to your gym sessions. Carry things, move heavy objects, use your body outside of controlled environments. And stop optimizing the training before you've fixed the baseline. Samson wasn't the exception. He was what's possible when the environment stops working against the body.